welcome back to Rooted Vines. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, y'all. I'm trying to go live. I need more subscribers, so please subscribe if you see this and you enjoy this information. Look, you guys, I know you saw the title. We are talking about username versus true name. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. We're going to talk about this, and it's going to apply to your name and your life, right? Because that's what Rooted Vines is about. All about looking inward, making sure that you're looking at yourself, that you are growing, and that you are on the path you were intended to be on. And I do that by sharing tea, right? Because making tea, the process of slowing down and thinking, replicates what we do in our life and in the real world. And I have some videos that talk about that in a more deeper setting. But right now, I really want to talk to you about username versus true name. I went to the library doing my civic duty. I love the library. If you don't have a library card, I don't know what y'all doing with your life, okay? Y'all need to go out and get a library card right now. All right. Well, at least after this video. Okay. So I picked up this book, The Magic of Physics. All right. I know you're like, what? I love physics books. I love physics books. I love metaphysics. I love anything in that arena, that genre. That is me. I'm reading big time. And I like any type of self-help, self-growth books, right? Because I'm always trying to get to the next level, trying to move myself forward to make sure that I'm staying on the path and I'm completing the assignment that the Most High sent me here for. Okay. All right. So let's go on and get into this, y'all. Let's get into this. So, user versus true names, the power of who you really are. Okay. Let's start there. So, what's in a name? What's in your name? More than you actually think, right? Sometimes we don't even think about a name, especially these days. I know in the past, our ancestors' names were very important, but today we be throwing out names all willy-nilly. Matter of fact, somebody out there is named willy-nilly. So today we're going to dive deep into the idea of username versus true name. And yep, even for the little ones watching, I don't know if there's little ones watching, but we're going to talk about it all. I know growing up, my name is Mayaka. It's very easy to say, but I know when you hear it the first time, you want to add letters, you want to leave out letters, I don't know what you want to do with my name. And it took a long time before I really liked my name and understood how unique it is, right? But as I say this, I want you to know that the purpose behind this video is that by the end of the video, I want you to see how a name isn't just a label, right? It's got power, personality, and it even has a purpose behind it. But it's understanding what that power, what that personality, and what that purpose really entails for you, okay? So even when we're using a nickname for most of our life, it really becomes like a fantasy dynamic between inner self and how the outer world sees you. And I want to start with nicknames because most of us have nicknames. I know I do. I started out as my dad's Pookie Bird, okay? I don't know. I don't know. And then as I got older, the bird dropped, and now I'm just that, elusive Pookie out there. You know Pookie. Everybody got a Pookie in their family. I'm the Pookie in the family, okay? So when you have a nickname, especially if it's given to you, you kind of get used to that, and your family introduces your cousins, your uncles. When you're born, they start to get used to this nickname that someone has given you, whether it's your family, your friend, or however you got your nickname, right? And it's as if you start to present that nickname to the world. For some of us, not all of us. I don't think I ever portrayed myself as a Pookie. Y'all let me know a Pookie that you know, and then tell me what their personality traits are, okay? Because I'm the only Pookie I know, except for in the movies. And I ain't no crackhead, okay? But usually your nickname, you will start to live that out for a lot of people that name to the outer world, right? And then everybody, you're known by that. I know my dad finally start calling me my real name Mayaka, but my sister, she still calls me Pookie. And when she introduces me to people, she introduces me as Pookie. Then all her friends in her little circle, I am Pookie. So I don't know if I'll ever outlive that name, but I don't live my life as that. I actually live my name out as Maya, and I'm going to talk about that closer to the end, so that you can understand how a name is really important, and how your true self is reflected by the name that you have been given, the name that you choose to go by, right? Because sometimes your true self behind a nickname remains a little bit hidden. And some people can be a little bit reserved in some cases, and even protected or protective when it comes to a name. So here's what it can mean for the person using the nickname, and for those around them who only know them as the version of that name. And it's really sad because, some of us, we know people as their nickname. We go through 20, 30, some people 50 years never knowing the person's real name. And if something happens and they die, you get that phone call. Hey, Junebug done passed away. Everybody knows him as Junebug, but if you ask somebody, well, what was his last name? What was his name, his actual name? You gotta wait till you go to a funeral and read the obituary. I don't know what that says about the person, or says about us, when it comes to nicknames, because nicknames in our community are really special. I mean, there's some wild nicknames, but it's given with lots of love and lots of care. And so it's not something that we feel like is a spoof or anything, but it's something that I love to see, that we have nicknames in the family. I'm not sure if I could have been called something else, maybe Sexy Red, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe Sexy Red. I don't know. So let's go ahead and continue to talk about this right now, right? Okay. So for the person that's using a nickname, sometimes it gives them a sense of control, right? Because they can put boundaries up. I don't need you to know me that well. If you know me as Pookie, right? That's great. You can know me as Pookie, but that tells me that you really don't know me like that, right? I'm just someone that you're associated with, either through my family or through other friends. Zuri, don't you start. I'm over here recording. Okay. So you can draw like these invisible lines about how close people can get to you, just by them knowing or not knowing your real name, and having them to identify you only as your nickname. So in this case, it gives a level of privacy for some people. And that's sometimes why I don't mind being called Pookie, right? And not only that, it just it's a comfortable level of privacy, I guess. You feel comfortable with it because you've grown up with it. So it's not something outside of your boundaries, but it's boundaries within boundaries on how close a person can know you. Now, another thing with nicknames is a dual identity. Having a public name and a real name can create like a duality, right? We always talk about code switch. Well, you code switch with your name also. And I've been known to do that. When I go to work, people don't know me as Mayaka. It's very few people who will actually call me by my name, but they're comfortable with Maya, and they're happy that there's another version that they can say other than Mayaka. And I have to say, one time I went and I was getting hired on at the hospital, and we were in some training before your training before you start the job. And I remember, after I had told people, oh, you can call me Maya, we were on a lunch break, and this EMT sitting across from me, he was like, I'm not calling you Maya. Your name is Mayaka, and everybody in here needs to know how to say your name. So you'll always be Mayaka to me. And that held weight with me. And I really respected him for that. So when you deal with jobs, when you deal with even in sports, the duality, the switching, the switch code, the code switch that you have, can feel casual and easygoing, but it really represents something deeper, more of a serious side that you kind of, sorry, you guys, that you kind of keep closer to your heart. And it's almost like you have two identities. And we do, because we go to work as one person, but when we come home, we're totally other person. Like this right here, I mean, I am kind of like this all the time, but you don't want to go too overboard depending on what you do for a living, right? So we have to learn different aspects of ourselves. And I have done videos about different aspects of ourselves. And one of them is talking about archetypes with the Wizard of Oz. If you have not seen that, you might want to go and check that video out. And just learning to respect yourself and bringing all aspects of yourself to the table. So everybody plays a role, but they play it healthy. So they don't go rogue like the wicked rich. Okay. Another thing about a person using a nickname, protection of self. A lot of people are really concerned about protecting self because they have been hurt or whatever, been through trauma, whatever, identity stolen, whatever it may be. People like to shield themselves, and nowadays it's even more so. We got the catfish going on, and there's probably billions of reasons people catfish each other or ghost each other. um, but if you are someone who really values privacy, and you've experienced the pain of someone, of betrayal, especially when it comes to your real name, going by a nickname, going by a pseudonym, um, is probably something that a lot of these type of people would do, and understandably, right? Okay, a nom de plume, I think that's the way they call it. I hope I said that right. Nom de plume, just a name that has been made up. And I know a lot of authors use that type of tactic when they're writing about certain things, or they just want to be elusive, right? I just want to write this, and I just want to put my thoughts down, but I don't want all of the conjecture that comes with it. Okay. So for those who only know the nickname, like they don't know that they haven't even stopped to ask you if you have a real name. And obviously people know that I was not, well, nowadays, I guess you don't know. Or you could be legally named Pookie. I don't know. But people who only know someone by a nickname might feel they fully understand them. And they're often unaware of the deeper level, or the deeper layer that you possessed in your life, right? It's almost as if they're seeing a curated version of you, right? Through their eyes, not yours or the world's, but just through their eyes. And you play a character who represents that part of the person's identity, but not the whole. Remember, I'm talking about you have aspects and levels to yourself. And so people who only know you by a nickname will only identify that character in you and have no idea that you are a complex being, because we are all really self-centered and we're not thinking about other people, how they feel, or if they have different layers, right? We only take what you present, and we take you basically true with your name, right? All right. So there is a potential for surprise and discovery. When people discover a hidden real name, it can be a revelation. I know when people be like, "Oh, your name ain't Maya," would you like? I don't know if they feel like they've been deceived or what, but and then I tell them my real name, and they really love it, but they just don't want to butcher it. At least that's what they tell me. Uh, and then once your real name is revealed, though, they kind of see a new facet of you, right? They kind of want to see y'all. This dog. Hold on. I'm gonna have to pause this for a second because the mailman out here. Okay, guys, I'm back. My dog is tripping the mailman out there, and I don't know what it is with mailmen. Okay. So once you reveal, or people find out your real name and it's different from what they thought, they really want to like dive in and really figure out who you are. It's almost like this new layer, this new person has emerged, and the name is so different. And it's like, oh, that's not what I thought when I thought of this name. That's when I thought of Maya, I had this in my head. But when I hear Mayaka, it's a little deeper, it's a little mysterious, right? Another thing we want to talk about is the assumptions versus reality. Many people build assumptions around someone's nickname, right? Like Pookie. I don't know. When I hear Pookie, I'm thinking of New Jack City. It just be calling me, man. It just be so someone's nickname. assuming they know the person's entire story just off of the nickname. I'm thinking, how'd you become Junebug? How did you become Popcorn? Like, what is the story behind it? Because now, I'm assuming something. I'm assuming maybe where you live, what you drive, who you are. You know what I'm saying? The people you hang around. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But when they learn the true name, they have a different kind of respect, right? For the name that you have been given. It really might challenge their preconceptions and open them up to seeing the person you really are in a more deeper way. So you can develop more of a deeper relationship. And I know some people believe that's the opposite. Like, you develop a deeper relationship if you know my nickname, right? But for others, it's the real name, because so many of us have nicknames or half names or whatever it is. Like Mayaka is half. I cut that in half and I get Maya up front. So it just depends on the people that you're around. Now, as we continue to talk about names, we also want to talk about the spiritual significance of names versus nicknames, right? Usernames versus true names, because names really carry energy. And this is really in my wheelhouse. Names carry energy, and going by a nickname can alter how others receive your energy. A nickname might feel lighter and less informal. Um, Inviting ease and approachability. Like, because you have a nickname, you must be a cool person, right? You must be a little laid back. But then we know that's not true, because some people have nicknamed Karens out there, and they are not easy and they are not approachable and they don't seem laid back when it comes to certain things, right? So in contrast, a real name might feel rooted, it might feel grounded and true to family heritage, lineage, or ancestral meaning. So, real names, true names, usually have a tie. It gives you some type of pride about who you are. The two names, the real and the nickname, become almost like two versions of reality that you're living, right? We are like two different dimensions that you're walking through at the same time. By sharing your nickname with most and your real name with a select few, you really craft a bridge between your inner self and your outer world, because your inner self and your outer world are two different completely things, right? What I try to do here at Rooted Vines is I want you to be your inner self all the time. If you're going to go by the nickname, that's fine. But we want you to live out your true name, right? You can have this title, but I want you to be true to yourself. And that's inside your world that you have selected, and have the outer world treat you the same. Choosing who gets to see the heart of who you truly are, right? So we want the whole world to see who you are, but we want you to be comfortable with that as well. And the only way you can do that is to start to deal with self. When we talk about true names, it really speaks about the volume of power when it comes to names, how they can reveal or how they can actually conceal, right? Marking personal boundaries and highlighting different facets of our personalities. Ultimately, it's a unique journey for each and every one of us, even if your name resembles someone else, right? Because the meaning, the reason you were named that is going to be different. That means that energy is going to be different. And also, you have people who are named Michael and Michael, but spelt different for a reason. Even the spelling, the using of the letters carries energy. The way that you arrange the letters for them to be spelled is like a sigil, right? It's like a sign. So just because you share the same name with someone doesn't always mean that you guys will be aligned. I know with my husband, his name is Chauncey. And it's, you don't meet Chauncey's every day, okay? You just don't. Just like you don't meet Mayakas every day. But when I meet someone else who says, "Oh, I have a cousin named Chauncey," or "I had a friend in high school named Chauncey," and they still are in contact, I always say, "What does your Chauncey do?" Because for me, I have noticed that people who are named Chauncey are really successful in whatever arena that they're in. So if you know a Chauncey, put your Chauncey down and tell me their personality and let me know what they do for a living and if they're successful, because I've always come across that. So I don't know. I just feel that way just because the way it's a rare name. My husband's named that, and he's very successful in everything that he does, and he has a great personality. So I always wonder about other Chaunceys out there, right? Chauncey, this for you, Brian. Chauncey Kavanaugh. So you get to choose who calls you what, right? And how much of your essence that you are willing to share with strangers, coworkers, family, best friends, whatever it is. Okay, so I really want you to just kind of, as I go through this, just think about your name. Think about maybe you want to call your mom or dad up and find out how you got your name or why they named you that. Did they put any forethought in it? Was their ancestor named that name? So, because like I said, names carry pride. They can, and they carry energy, but they can kind of let you know who you are and what your intention, your parents' intentions were for you sometimes, right? Now, when I talk about username versus true name, right? I want to give you kind of like an example because I've talked a little bit. Think of your username online. Like maybe you're called Cool Kid 123 or Flower Power 44. They're a lot of fun, right? They say a little something about you, but they don't give it all away, right? Maybe you feel like you're a cool kid 123, or maybe cool kid is a kid, right? Flower power. Maybe you're herbal. You're into herbals. Maybe you just love plants, like me, as you can see. Um, your true name is like the essence of who you are. Okay, so your username tells people a little bit about you, but your true name is your essence, right? It's who you were meant to be, what you come here to do. And this, I would just say, like, imagine a superhero whose power only activates when someone calls them by their real name, not their online alias, right? That would be kind of weird, right? You could only call up the superhero if you knew their real name. That means that people understand what you do, who you are, what you're here for, and they're going to call upon that power which can do that for them. I hope that makes sense. So, the goal here is to really illustrate the difference simply and clearly on labels, because a name is basically just a label. So surface label, while we continue to really dig deeper into what I call our true selves versus the characters we play for everybody else on stage, right? Because that's what we do. We play these characters on stage, we put on different masks, and we write our own scripts. The problem is that other people are sharing the same stage we're on. They're writing their own scripts and wearing different masks, and sometimes things collide. So you got to know your stage presence, right? And you got to know if you're going to be your main star or if you're going to hang out in the back. Okay. So let's talk about the power of given names. All right. Given names. Now, your true name, the one your parents has given to you, is where things really get a little interesting, I think, because names aren't just sounds, right? Again, we have established they carry power and they carry energy, and even the sound of names carry energy out when they are spoken. They carry meaning and they even influence who we are, which is crazy. So I'm gonna take my name, all right, my nickname Maya, Maya, versus a name like Amanda. So people name Maya, and actually, I don't even want to go there. I want to say Maya actually means illusion in Sanskrit and water in Hebrew. So many Mayas are known to be creative, compassionate, and very driven. And I have to say this is true for Maya, Maya, right? And when we talk about the name Amanda, it I know it sounds like plain Jane, right? But even Amanda has history, right? It's a Latin word for worthy of love. And Amandas usually come across really friendly and well liked. If you think back in high school, how many of y'all know Amandas? I had a great friend. I mean, they really are, as far as I know, really friendly, and they're usually well liked. They're just that, that bubbly personality. Now, if you know a Amanda that's not well liked and does not have a bubbly bubbly personality, comment below. Tell me what your Amanda is like. All right, let me know what Amanda's out there doing in 2024. So, even though you have a name like Amanda, maybe it's Mary, there are certain traits and influence that a lot of us notice that kind of ride the same wave, when you're named something that is familiar. Now, when we're talking about what your parents named you, we want to go back to, because I want to say the importance of naming. Some people name for biblical traditions. You'll meet Mary, you'll meet Joseph, you'll all types of names that come from the Bible, right? In many African cultures, names are given with deep meaning. It is not just thrown out there. It is really prayed about. It is really a ceremony. It's like a blessing, a hope, a calling that they are putting on your life. They are intentionally infusing, bonding this name to you with a purpose and a hope that you grow up to be a upstanding person, a loving person, someone who is going to make the family proud. I know when I was younger, my dad would always be like, if we were acting up or we weren't dressing right, we looked crazy. He's like, you ain't leaving this door because you got my name on you, right? It was very important how you showed up in the world. So I know in the Yoruba culture, babies are given names that reflect family hopes, values, and circumstances. And even when we talk about the Bible, again, names were not chosen randomly, they represented purpose or prophecy, like Abram becoming Abraham, right? The father of nations. So, naming is very important. I know when I was young, how, I don't know if this, okay, I'm just going to share this. I know I was young, you'd be like, ooh, when I have kids, I'm gonna name them. And like, especially for girls, they always wanted boys, right? And you always wanted to name them after the finest boys that you knew, right? And DeMarquius, Dwayne, and they always had like 20 names. Like, they had the first name, but they had like 11 middle names and then the last name, because you had to put all those boys' names in there. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just me. But, even with my children today, I wish I would have taken, but I had my children really young, but I wish I would have taken the names more seriously. They don't have awful names, but I wish I would have intentionally bonded, intentionally poured into them with their name. Like I said, even in the Bible, it represented purpose and prophecy. I want you to really understand, especially for those who may not even have kids yet, or, you're going by a nickname, how deep it is that your name goes, and how ancient traditions, really put an emphasis on what a name is. We talk about today where people get, I don't know what you call it, red line or whatever, even with applications, they may see a Deshaun and automatically know what a Deshaun entails. They may see a Sharita and already have a picture in their mind of what Sharita is going to be like, and decide, I'm not even going to call them for the interview. Unfortunately, when I say names have power, it's not always that they have like power, but it's sometimes it goes the opposite way, where we lose out on a lot of opportunity because of the name we have. Is that fair? No. Is it right? No. But we're talking about the real world. I know with my name Mayaka, they don't know what I am. They don't even know if they're pronouncing it right. So that way I get at least a toe in the door. Okay, just a toe in the door, honey, okay? So, but I just want you to think about that. And if you have struggled with your name, because your name holds some type of visual connotation to it, do you feel like you've been held back from opportunities because of your name? If so, put your name down and let me know what it is about your name that you feel has kind of put you in the corner, right? Put baby in the corner somehow. The next thing I want to talk about is family titles. Junior, sir, the third. I know with my family, my dad, he is the second, and then my brother is the third. But his son has cut all ties with that, right? I don't know how you feel about that. I kind of wish my brother would have went ahead and carried it, because my dad is the only son, and then my brother is the only son, and he had a son, and I don't know if he's going to have children, right? And it would be nice for that legacy to continue, because you can trace it back, as you all know. So for some of us that do have a third or a sequel, like it's like a blockbuster movie, right? Like a sequel coming out for a name. um it means a lot too, because like I was saying, it carries a legacy forward. It creates an even deeper bond, and people respect that. I know I respect it. When I meet people, they're like, oh, I'm the third, I'm the fourth, I'm like, wow, that is so powerful, that they continue this legacy, that they handed it down, that you won't be lost in the sauce in the future, right? Your future generations are going to be able to trace you back with no problems, with these type of names, these type of sequels, these part threes, part fours coming near you, right? So the next time you really think about your name, remember that it's more than a sound or a tag that you put on at your next networking meeting. It's really a part of you. It's a story, it's a connection to your ancestors, but it's also a story to your future, where you're going, where people don't think about much, right? This is why I say you must live with intention, you must live with forethought, you must live with goals and a vision, because you need to embrace your name, because there is power within it. And even if the power doesn't seem like it's working in your favor, do not be down and out. Your power holds a lot of meaning, and it might not be where you think it should take you. And so that's another thing when we're thinking about ourselves. Sometimes when we are hiding ourselves, whether behind a name or behind a mask or the character you play or whatever, we tend not to go in and find out what we're really supposed to be doing, what we're really supposed to be, the path we're really supposed to be on. And we're knocking on doors where there's nobody there for us, right? So sometimes it's not just the name, but who are you meant to be? What were you created to do? Because a lot of us are going down the wrong path, and that's why we're not getting the opportunities that we should be getting. Okay, Oprah has a name now. Oprah could have been a name, especially back then, that didn't hold a lot of weight when it comes to power and opportunity. You have to find your niche, you have to find who you are, and one way to start that is to look at your name. So share your name, or talk to your family members about your name, why you were given the nickname you were given, what kind of nicknames did they have in their past, right? Explore personal heritage. It makes it a lot more fun. um Also, you might want to change your nickname, which is totally possible. So, although I go by Maya, Maya, I have recently started putting the H at the end, right? The reason I did this is because I am changing as a person. The Maya, Maya, that people once knew has been changed and is transforming into a whole different kind of person, doing totally different things, moving away from my past. Not because my past was bad, but because I have found myself and I have found my purpose, and I'm very comfortable in it, right? And so when we deal with Maya with the H, you might not think that that's much, like you just added a H, but it is powerful when it comes to the meaning, and it also is powerful when it comes to the energy that Maya gives with the H. So remember, Maya in Sanskrit, it translates to illusion or magic, right? Symbolizing the way we perceive and shape the reality. And it's funny because this is what I talk about now, And this is why I started Rooted Vines, and I've gotten so deep into physics because physics showed me who God really was. And so this really resonates with that idea of seeing through the illusions to find true self and purpose, which that's what I'm here for, and to teach others. Now, Maya without the H in Hebrew, again, translates to water, being fluid, adaptable, understanding life's essentials and nourishing qualities. That's who I am. And water connects to emotion, intuition, and resilience, right? But this is where it gets crazy because me adding just the H, just altering my name with one letter at the end, automatically adapts, adds to spiritual traditions. Right now with the H, it's not just meaning illusion or magic, it's meaning breath, it's meaning spirit, force, vitality, and divine connection. And I feel that is wonderful because that's exactly what I was feeling when I decided to add the H on there. Okay, because it carries a deeper meaning. It links to a strong concept of actually grounding myself and being authentic, and not just being authentic, but being okay with myself and who I am. It's adding a layer of intention, signifying that the version of me, this new Maya with the H, is more aligned with deeper and a truer essence of who I am becoming. Right? Because the truth is, we every day we're becoming. We're never at the end. We're always becoming. We're always going to the next level. We're always moving forward. Right? So, me adding the H really made a lot of sense. And it's funny because I researched this before I did this because I wanted to know, like, wow, why did I add the H? I felt like I was becoming someone deeper, and I'm transitioning and transforming, right? Especially my mindset. But when I did this and I noticed how powerful it was when I put the H on, I was like, really, I was taken aback. Right? So, me choosing Maya as redefining myself is very powerful because I did it deliberately. It's a deliberate shift. I did it with intention. I did it with thinking of my future and who I'm becoming and the things that I want to claim and put into my life. I wanted a fresh meaning. I got a lot of things going on, things that I never thought I would be able to accomplish. And I'm pushing forth whether people are with me or not. And it really signifies my personal symbol of growth, clarity, and authenticity, y'all. So each time someone says Maya, right, they're reinforcing this renewed version of myself. They are helping me become even better, helping me to elevate every time they speak my name. So I'm really appreciative of that. And you don't even know you're doing it. The small change from MAYA to MAYH allows my original strength of my name to layer a spiritual depth on top of it with personal growth, right? It's just a beautiful reflection of this journey that I'm on. So as I get ready to wrap up, I want to say thank you. I hope if you have any questions about this or you want me to go a little deeper, let me know. I didn't really want to get into the whole physics things because it does get way deeper, right? And for those of you who are into physics or metaphysics, you know what I'm talking about. So I tried to keep it on a more surface level, and it's really good to just talk about your name. And I thought it would be a fun, video. If you found power in your name today, hit the subscribe button and keep exploring with me on these amazing life insights. Stop by Rooted Vines, pick you up some hibiscus haven or whatever tea that you like, right? And here's some questions that you can go with. What does your name mean? Look it up. Who actually named you and why? And do you feel like the name that you were given resonates with you? And if not, why don't you feel that way? And if you do, if you believe your true name that was given to you speaks about you in volumes, like that is who you are, put that down too, because I would love to know, and I would like to do some more research in the information that you give. All right, guys, that's it. That's it. Thank you for joining me here at Rooted Vines. I appreciate the time that you have given me. And as always, I pray that whatever you seek and you desire in this realm, it is seeking and desiring you. Stay blessed and stay rooted, family. Bye.